Welcome everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome one and all to another brand new episode of the Zelda podcast, the Kokiri Chronicles. Very special podcast where I do this every single third day of the month. But welcome in friends, welcome in everyone, so good to see y'all. If you guys were here for last month's episode in the month of August, I was joined by my good friend Kai, or Princess Kaiora, to where I was able to talk about the events of Link's Awakening, and to answer the real question as, was it really all a dream? In my dream, I am associating with the entire history of Koholint Island. We talked about the Windfish and other stuff, but if you guys have not seen that, check that out. But if you guys are watching this on YouTube, please don't forget to do the following by liking, sharing, subscribing, all that good jazz. It really helps me out. And also, come say hi to me on Twitch under the same name, Born of Kokiri. I am live on Twitch on some occasions on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. And Thursdays now. But, so today's topic is we are going to be talking about all the hype. This discussion is going to be about the upcoming 2D Zelda game that's coming out in 23 days by the time that I am recording this. We are going to be talking about The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. And mostly, we are going to be talking about Princess Zelda's role in the entire game. So before that, let me go and look at Twitch chat real quick and say hi to some people. I see Sora and Elsa and Goofy. Welcome in, you three. Welcome in, everybody. Thank y'all so much for tuning in to today's podcast. So good to see y'all. And also, let me know in the YouTube comments as well, by the time you're watching this, if you are hyped for Echoes of Wisdom that's coming out. All I can say is, I'm pretty hyped for it. I just can't believe it is coming out real soon. It's going to be here before you know it. Like, we're all going to wake up and it's like, oh, Echoes of Wisdom is finally here. So that being said, y'all, how about we go ahead and dive in and let's get into the discussion about our beautiful, amazing Princess of Hyrule's role in this upcoming 2D Zelda game. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm definitely going to be showing off a few pieces of the 3 trailers that we got soon, later on, but I definitely do want to talk about it. So, honestly, I can say this is a really big deal. And I mean, it's a really big deal. Like throughout the Zelda franchise, we've been known for having, like mostly every incarnation of Link be, like, the main playable character throughout the Zelda series. Even though Link's name is not in the title. I mean, that's definitely is much to say, but yeah. And even though along the way, you know, we've had, like, multiple incarnations. From the Hero of Hyrule in Zelda 1 and Zelda 2. From the Hero of Legend in Link's Awakening and Link to the Past. My personal favorite being the Hero of Time from Ocarina of Time Majora's Mask. You know, Hero Winds from Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass. The Hero Twilight from Twilight Princess. The Hero Chosen by the Sky. The Hero of the Sky in Skyward Sword. The Hero of the Wild from Breath of the Wild. Again, I can just go on forever. But my point is, mostly every main game has always had Link as the main character. But now, this is now Princess Zelda's time to shine. Now she can finally shine. She's now joining the battle. But I do want to add on something, though. You guys, this is not her first time going to be playable in a mainline title. And for this sake, I'm not counting spin-offs. So I'm not counting Hyrule Warriors. And no, I am not counting Zelda CDI for this discussion. I'm not counting those. But the first time, to kind of like summarize things up, the first time to where Zelda was playable in a mainline game. And I'm looking at Twitch chat. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm not talking about spin-offs, including CDI. Sorry. But anyway, the first time to where Zelda was playable in a mainline title was in Spirit Tracks back in 2009 on the DS. To where she had a sole purpose to where she had her body taken by an evil demon known by the Demon King Malladus. And she basically just teams up with Link in order to get her body back. But she did play a really significant role to where she helps the hero trains like solve puzzles and travel around New Hyrule, like throughout the spirit tracks, and to restore the tower's spirit, just to get her body back and to find Malladus. So honestly, if it wasn't for Zelda, if it wasn't for Zelda's spirit, the mission probably would have failed. But thankfully, at least that we got to play as her. But now we have this brand new game that's coming out. And honestly, I'm pretty thrilled. I'm excited. I'm excited that Zelda's gonna have her time in the spotlight. She's gonna have her time, and I think it's gonna be great. And I feel that with this new game that's coming out, she is gonna have a lot of shoes to fill in. She's gonna have so many shoes to fill in for throughout the history of the Zelda franchise. Because when you do think about it, in mostly every game, you have Link, who definitely takes on various incarnations throughout the history of Hyrule. And what Link is capable of doing in each game is that he put the task and the entire land of Hyrule or whatever land he's in, he puts all of that before himself. And honestly, that's one of the biggest roles, one of the biggest aspects about Link. He puts a task and other people's problems first, including the land that he's in, whether he be in Hyrule or in Tournament of Majora's Mask, or whether he's in another world or universe like in Holodrum or Labyrinth, like in the Oracle games. But my point is, he puts other people's problems and an entire land first before himself. Now, Zelda's gonna have to do the same thing what Link does. I mean, knowing that she is the princess of Hyrule, she's gonna definitely put her, she's gonna put, her people, she's gonna put her people first, and everything that's going on throughout the land of Hyrule before herself. So, she's definitely gonna have a lot of shoes to fill in now that Link is gone. It's definitely is going to be a lot. And honestly, we can definitely say that, to me, this will definitely be an important role throughout Zelda's history. Now, as far as where this game is probably going to mark on the timeline, honestly, we don't know. We purposely don't know, but my guess is we're probably going to see it in the Fallen timeline. I mean, that is my slightest guess. My slightest guess, it is going to be in the Fallen timeline. And one thing that I do want to do is I definitely wanted to show off some trailers. We're definitely going to look at each trailer and talk about it, based on what we saw from the Nintendo Direct to what Nintendo has been dropping to the new one that we've seen recently. So, let's definitely dive into each one and talk about Princess Zelda's role in this brand new game that's coming out real soon. So, I'm going to go ahead and get big. I can see you can get big. But I hope you guys are excited for Echoes of Wisdom. Myself included, we definitely are going to be taking a big dive in this game. So, I'm going to go ahead and play some trailers without the audio. I'm definitely going to play it off. I'm definitely going to play starting with the first trailer, and we'll definitely break down and talk about it. So honestly, as we can see here, we see this dungeon. We don't know specifically where it is, but I'm going to say that my guess is this is going to be somewhere below or somewhere near Hyrule Castle, because later on we are going to see that Ganon's involved. Princess Zelda is imprisoned within a crystal, even though this ain't the first time that we had Zelda trapped within a crystal. And I feel like this game is probably going to, and with this area specifically, I feel like that is definitely going to take a lot of, it definitely took a reference to the Hyrule Castle Chasm, the underground version of Hyrule Castle from Tears of the Kingdom. If anybody's played Tears of the Kingdom, you know what I'm talking about. But at least that's what I feel where I'm getting at with this game. And honestly, it definitely raises a lot of questions. Just by looking at Link's sword, it definitely looks a little bit different than the usual sword that he usually uses. Honestly, I don't think we can say that this right here is the Master Sword, but we're not going to talk about that That's going to be a discussion for another day. That's going to be a discussion for another day, without a doubt. That'll be for another day, because right now we are talking all about Zelda. But, I mean, we do know that Link definitely comes back. And I mean, honestly, we can probably guess that he's coming back, like, after the events of Link's Awakening. At least that's what a lot of people tend to predict. But there's one thing that I do want to notice, is that this probably could be a resurrected Ganon that Zelda herself is going to have to fight. Because when you look back at Link to the Past, Ganon had a one-sided trident. This one, right here, if you look carefully, this one is now two-sided. Is now a double-sided trident. And to kind of like prove that, I'm going to go ahead and look up a quick picture real quick so that way you guys get an idea of what I'm talking about. Let me see. Alright, Ganon, A Link to the Past. So yeah, so here's the last time that we saw Ganon in the Fallen Timeline. The first time we've ever seen Ganon in the Fallen Timeline. And you can see right here, his trident is only a one-sided. It's not double-sided. But there is something else. There is a part to where Link actually fights Ganon in Link's Awakening. But it's not the real Ganon. It's just a nightmare. It's just a form of a nightmare that the main villain in Link's Awakening takes on, because he knows that Link is definitely afraid of Ganon. And just by looking at Ganon's weapon, this is also as a two-sided. This is without a doubt two-sided. It's a two-sided weapon. And just by looking at it right here, this is without a doubt a two-sided weapon. Now, obviously from right here from the start, Ganon's gone. Ganon's gone. Link is ready to save the princess. And obviously because of the freaking trident, which I'm sure like Ganon's trident definitely is capable of some sort of dark magic, because throughout the history of Hyrule, like, you know, Ganon or Ganondorf has always been, you know, always uses like dark magic to like take over Hyrule, conquer the land, to get whatever he wants, to defeat Link in combat. But there's always something involved that has dark magic. And honestly, of course, obviously we know that Ganon's trident is definitely filled with some sort of dark magic, which explains why the rifts are coming apart, why Link is actually able to free and try to save Zelda before he gets sucked up in the rift. And of course, knowing we can't say without a doubt what kind of arrow he used. I'm probably gonna guess and think that he probably used a light arrow, which is why the crack on Zelda's crystal was able to shatter, and why she was able to break free. So obviously we can see here that she definitely is escaping from the rift. She barely makes it out alive without getting sucked in. But knowing what she has to see right here is just by looking at this, we can say without a doubt that this is the same land that the hero of legend conquered in Link to the Past. Because there's like a lot going on right here. We can see Hyrule Castle. There's the rock area. There's like the desert area. All this stuff right here that leads up to Death Mountain. Definitely a cave or a dungeon right here. But we know without a doubt that Zelda herself, she is going to have major shoes to fill in. And as like I said before at the start of this podcast, she's gonna put everyone's problems first before herself. Whoever's dealing with an issue, or like what's going on with her people and her kingdom, she's gonna put all of that first before herself. And mostly her main goal is she's definitely gonna try to find Link. So she's definitely gonna be like, okay, you know what? Instead of just focusing on trying to find Link, I'm gonna go help the people of Hyrule who need my help. I'm gonna go help these people out. I'm gonna solve their problems. I'm gonna find out what's going on with all these rifts that are just appearing out of nowhere, and we can honestly have to blame Ganon's trident after he disappeared at the start of this trailer. So I'm gonna do that. Then I'm gonna find Link, or hopefully just put it on the side and make it as like my main mission. So, and honestly, just by looking at this trailer, there are like rifts appearing everywhere. There are like a rift appearing everywhere. And Zelda, without a doubt, is surprisingly going to be having to find a way to see what it like how can she eradicate all of these freaking, excuse me, all of these rifts that are just coming out of nowhere. They're literally out of nowhere. Also, looking at Twitch chat, we see Nick. Nick, hello, welcome in. How's it going? Welcome in, Nick. Glad you can join us for the podcast today. We're talking about Princess Zelda's role in this game. So, one thing that really has captured a lot of people's eyes is for the longest time, we have a new Zelda companion. Like, you know, throughout the Zelda games, there's always been a companion. We had fairies like Navi and Tattle and Ciela from Phantom Hourglass. We've had the King of Red Lions from Wind Waker. We've had Midna. We've had Midna from Twilight Princess. We had the Spirit of the Master Sword, aka Fi from Skyward Sword. You know, there's been so many. There's been quite a few companions throughout the history of the Zelda franchise. And now we're getting this new one named Tri. And even just by looking at this character, this definitely is gonna, this character is more than likely going to fill in a major role with Zelda. Now, we don't know, obviously, where this character is from. We do know the fact that because of Tri's existence, Zelda is able to use this new item called the Tri Rod. And just by thinking about it, the name Tri, obviously, come on. That's definitely a major reference to, Triforce, which is obviously the golden emblem throughout the Zelda series. And even Tri has 3 little triangles right behind it. See? 1, 2, and 3. So, my guess is, just by thinking about it, if I were to have a possible theory about this mysterious fairy coming to help Zelda out of nowhere, is because to me, here's what I'm getting to that. This, to me, represents a fairy of wisdom. Because here's the thing, when you do think about it. When you go back to Ocarina of Time, Link first started his journey in the Kokiri Forest, right? And who's his first companion? Navi. And throughout the Forest of Hyrule, and even Link himself, he represents courage. Just like how Zelda represents wisdom, and Ganon or Ganondorf represents power. And knowing where I'm getting at with this game is that more than likely this fairy is going to reference probably Nehru, who is obviously the goddess of wisdom. So this can probably be the spirit of Nehru just taking on a different alias to definitely guide Zelda on her quest to save Hyrule, protect her kingdom, go help her people, and there's going to be a lot going on here with this new role she has to fulfill. But knowing that with the help of Tri and being able to use the Tri Rod, honestly, I think it's really neat that she's going to be using this tool as or mostly to create echoes of objects and creatures just to help her solve puzzles. And I think this is a really clever way to how we can see our beloved Princess of Hyrule just serve her role, to serve her purpose, to go find the first person she wants to save, and that is the hero of legend. But like I said earlier, on top of that, she's definitely gonna put her people and her entire kingdom, and probably Link, even though that's definitely her main agenda, before herself. And just by looking at all of this, knowing that she can create echoes of objects, she can definitely use it to defeat enemies, which honestly we are seeing this moblin here getting wiped out, knowing that obviously this is a minion of Ganon. But she's gonna be using that to aid her in her quest and to solve various amount of puzzles. So I think this is definitely a clever way to how Zelda can actually defend herself. Because even throughout this entire time, in every game that she's been in, to where she's not playable, Zelda, even though she has been constantly kidnapped, Zelda can definitely prove that she is capable of protecting herself. And you can see here that she's definitely going to be filling in a lot of people's problems. She's definitely going to help them out before, like, she's going to put their problems first before themselves. So obviously you can see right here that, like, she's going to be helping out the guards of Hyrule, the Zoras, the Deku Scrub, which honestly, it's kind of rare to see that we've barely seen a Deku Scrub in a Fallen timeline. Mostly they've been more existent, like, in the Child timeline, like in the events during Ocarina time and even in Majora's Mask. I mean, I know without a doubt we haven't seen them in the adult timeline, like in Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, and Spirit Tracks, but this is the first time that we get to see this familiar species in a different timeline. So there's definitely, and even the Great Deku Tree. So she's definitely going to help out the Great Deku Tree as well, and like even fight all these bosses, but most importantly, she's just going to help out so many people's problems, and it's going to be great. It's going to be a really great time. Going back on Twitch chat, doing well. How about you? I am doing great, Nick. We are definitely having an awesome discussion about Echoes of Wisdom. And my main question is, are you excited for Echoes of Wisdom? Because I pretty much am. I am pretty much excited for Echoes of Wisdom and to see what Zelda herself can do in this brand new game that's coming out. Also, let's rewind the music. Let's rewind it. Actually, no, I can turn up this a bit. There we go. There we go. Nick says in the chat, can't wait for the new game. Yes, Nick, it is coming out in 23 days. I am so excited. I cannot wait for this brand new Zelda game. I can't wait to play as Zelda herself. I mean, even though it is definitely confirmed that Link is going to be playable in this new game. Link definitely will be playable in this game, but more than likely, it's going to be Zelda's time to shine. It's definitely going to be her time. Because for everyone, this game is all about her. This is all about Zelda. This is really all about her. Looking at Twitch chat, Goofy says, that's soon. Oh, day not soon. Yeah, it is coming real soon, Goof. It's right around the corner, coming out within a few weeks. By the time I'm recording this, it's going to be out soon. And by the time this is uploaded on YouTube, it's probably out. It's probably going to be out by now. And by the way, if you guys are watching this by the time it's already out, I hope you guys are enjoying Echoes of Wisdom by the time it comes out. So now, let's go ahead and take it into another... Okay. Excuse me. Let's go ahead and talk about this other trailer. Traveling Hyrule. Okay. So, obviously... Excuse me. It's like I said many times... Zelda's gonna put her task of like helping out other people's problems, like Hyrule and like Zoras and the Deku Tree and the Deku Scrubs, and even her kingdom before herself. And of course, along the way, she's gonna find Link. But we can definitely say that this definitely is the same land of Hyrule that we got to experience back in A Link to the Past. And honestly, it just looks different, like a different Hyrule Castle town that we definitely are familiar with. Like look at this, like even like the desert, now it's just being called the Gerudo Desert. And one thing that I like is that Zelda's even gonna help out the Gerudos, because when you do think about it, this is the first time that we most likely get to see the actual tribe just hail within the Fallen timeline. Because a few times we've seen the Gerudo in a different timeline. Obviously, we've seen them in Ocarina of Time. We've seen them in Majora's Mask playing the role as like the pirates throughout Great Bay. And we've even got to see them in a game like Four Swords Adventures. I don't think that we've actually seen them in the in the adult timeline. And obviously, we've seen them in other games like in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. But And honestly, yes, I did not forget. Yes, I do know that Ganon or Ganondorf is obviously a Gerudo. He definitely is a Gerudo with no questions asked. But it definitely does amaze me that we are definitely going to be seeing this tribe once again. Because knowingly, like during the 3 timeline split, we kind of already assumed, like, almost, like, majority of the species have been wiped out, and they've been, like, added on to each of the 3 different timelines. And now that we're getting Gerudos in the Fallen timeline, definitely is going to raise a lot of theories and questions as to how they got here, which honestly, I'm probably gonna guess that it's probably because of Ganon. But, however, we do have another group of Gerudos, aka Twin Rova, but they don't make an appearance till the Oracle games. But I'm sure this is probably going to be after the events of Link's Awakening, and this game taking place before Oracle games. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if even these 2 Gerudos probably took on the forms of a Twin Rova. I wouldn't be surprised and saw that they were just like Twin Rova in disguise. I mean, it could be possible. It could be possible when you do think about it. But I like how, like, Zelda's gonna fill in, just, like, taking on this huge responsibility of helping out so many people in her entire land. And I love how there's, like, a lot of references to past Zelda games, like Jabul Waters. Like, if anybody has played Ocarina of Time, this without a doubt can be, like, play Ocarina of Time or Wind Waker. This is definitely, like, a huge reference to, like, the whale deities. Obviously, Jabu, like Lord Jabu from Ocarina of Time, and even Jaban from Wind Waker. But, however, we can confirm that there is a Lord Jabu in the Fallen timeline. But that is only in Oracle of Ages. So, I'm guessing here that now this area is called Jabu Waters. This could probably be the start before Jabu comes into play in Oracle of Ages. Even though, obviously, we know that Jabu is in the land of Labrada, which is a different world. But it could probably be the start of it. But one thing I can add, like, in terms of, like, Zelda helping out all these different creatures and different species, is great to see that we are getting Ocean Zoras once again. Because, like, in Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and Twilight Princess, we had Ocean Zoras. And I'm sure you guys are familiar with the Ocean Zoras. So it's, I mean, then again, this isn't, I mean, and then even looking at Link to the Past, we even had River Zoras. So there are 2 different types of Zoras throughout the history of Hyrule. We have River Zoras, which are these guys right here. And then we have Ocean Zoras, kind of like the ones we've seen like in Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and Twilight Princess. But now that both different species of Zoras are present in this game, it definitely will lead us a lot of questions as what Zelda can do to help aid them on her quest, while she's trying to eradicate all these rifts and a bunch of stuff going on. This is definitely going to raise so many questions as to, like, why are they here? Because it's great to see that they're in the same area, and I'm sure we'll get, like, look at that. Like, we have the River Zora, we have the Ocean Zora, and pretty much it looks like that they don't get along. Which, honestly, I'm sure we'll find out later on throughout the game as to, like, why both River and Ocean Zoras cannot get along. So, and I'm sure that with knowing that Zelda's going to take on this responsibility of putting other people first and her kingdom before herself, I'm sure that she's probably going to find a way to, like, resolve the issue as to what is going on. I mean, honestly, I can say it can probably be, like the work of Ganon, even though he disappeared throughout the rift, even though his trident caused all the rift portals to appear. But my big guess is obviously this has to do with Ganon's manipulation. Because when you do think about it, knowing how much of a cunning villain that both Ganondorf / Ganon really is, he's a master manipulator. Ganon is without a doubt a master manipulator. So, I can probably say that Rift Ganon, and yes, I'm calling it Rift Ganon because Ganon is, to me, looks like he is definitely has become one with the Rift. I feel that Rift Ganon has something to do with the manipulation of like having both the river Zoras and the ocean Zoras just starting to quarrel with each other, them not getting along. So, and I'm sure that knowing that Zelda is here, Zelda is obviously going to be the one who's going to resolve this issue. And I can definitely understand as to like why Zelda would have to go into hiding with the whole wearing the hoodie thing, because to me, this is where I'm probably getting at. I'm starting to think that this is definitely is a callback to the events in Link to the Past, because at the start of Link to the Past, of course, a lot of people, the people of Hyrule knew that Princess Zelda went missing, and because of what happened, and I think I could be correct on this, but the villain Aghanim was responsible for saying like, hey, do you want to know why your princess is gone? It's because Link did it. So he's the one who is responsible for having your princess gone missing. And that's why, like in Links in the Past, when you were to interact with people in Kakariko Village, you were able to see signs saying, like, having these wanted signs and wanted posters saying that Link is a threat, Link is a villain, even though obviously we know that Link didn't do anything. And then we have these guards like coming out to attack Link, even though Link did nothing wrong. So obviously this is probably going to be a similar situation, just like in A Link to the Past. So instead of Zelda going to be missing, now it is Link that has gone missing, and Zelda is to blame. So now that's probably why she's definitely is wearing the hoodie. She's wearing the hoodie because now she's going into hiding to make sure that nobody mistakes her for a villain. So honestly, it can make a lot of sense as to why Zelda definitely would go into hiding. Even though, again, she's definitely going to put all these people's problems, including the Gorons here, which I'm glad to see that we are getting Gorons in this game, or should I say also in this timeline, to where Zelda's definitely going to help out their problems. And honestly, excuse me, it definitely raised a lot of questions like why Death Mountain has now been changed to Elden. I mean, honestly, we can know without a doubt that Nintendo has been taking a lot of references to like past Zelda games, like with, like the Death Mountain area is the Elden area, the Elden region, the water area is the Waneiru region, like the grass forest area is the Faron region. Definitely taking on a lot of references to like past games. But I'm glad that this is gonna be like look at this, like the swamps of Hyrule that we were familiar with. Now Zelda's gonna have to come here, and now we're having Deku Scrubs come out of nowhere, which honestly has to raise a lot of questions as to where they came from. I mean, now we obviously know that we do have a Deku Tree appearing, but now just like, where are these other species coming from that other kind of didn't exist at first in this fallen timeline? And now, like, you know, and now all these rifts are just appearing out of nowhere. And honestly, this is going to be something big. This is definitely going to be pretty big. Like honestly, I think it's cool that adding in these little rocks are going to be ways of like fast traveling, and I'm glad they're doing that, because I know like back in games like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, we were able to like go to like towers and shrines to like fast travel to different locations and move around faster. So I think that this is going to be cool to where Zelda can actually use this to her own advantage, so like get to places to where she needs to go, whether she's going to the forest area or the river area of Waneiru, or the Elden area and the volcanoes and Death Mountain. I'm glad that she's going to be using it in her own advantage. But also, I do want to add that this is really freaking cute. I'm just going to say this right now. This is really freaking cute. I love the fact that we get to play as Zelda to where she is riding on a horse. Because I know on most occasions in some games, mostly in 3D, we were definitely known for Link riding on Epona. I mean, yeah, like in Breath of the Wild, we got to see Zelda ride on a horse. But now, the fact that we get to play as Zelda while she's riding on a horse, this is a total game changer. And honestly, this is really freaking cute. And I love like how she can create echoes of like carrots to like bring horses. Like honestly, this is too freaking cute, dude. This is really cute. Now, just by looking at these smoothies, I'm kind of curious as to what is the idea of having smoothies just make an appearance in this game. Now, honestly, I feel like, you know, these smoothies are definitely gonna be like statuses, like for like Zelda's arsenal to like you can you're able to like craft all these different kind of smoothies to like, you know, like, oh, like give Zelda more attack, give Zelda more defense, or, you know, or if she falls into combat, she can be revived. And honestly, that kind of and if that is capable of doing that, that could be a lot similar to what happened to Link during his time in Kohout Island, to where he would pick up a piece of power, it would increase Link's attack. If he were to pick up an acorn, it would increase his defense. So, I feel like that these smoothies are going to be capable of like being like a status effect towards Zelda. Would it be increasing her attack? It could be increasing her defense. It can heal her. It can probably revive Zelda, like if she falls into combat. I feel like that these smoothies are gonna like play a significant role. But also, I like how that now that most items that we find, like the Zora flippers and these hairpins, they are gonna play a huge role in customization. And I'm definitely glad that we are getting customization. Like, honestly, it looks cool. Like, I'm glad that we actually get to customize Zelda's outfit. Because normally, when you do think about it, I like how in various games that we play, that we've seen Zelda obviously wear different outfits. Like in Skyward Sword, she had her school outfit from the Knight Academy in Skyward Sword. She had her white clothes with the goddess outfit. Obviously, she had different clothes when she was young Zelda in Ocarina of Time, and a different dress, when she was an adult. She had a pretty more elegant, beautiful looking dress in Twilight Princess. And even looking at games like in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, she's even wear different outfits to her adventurous looking outfit, like the blue tunic outfit. She had her blue dress on, and even that looking at Tears of the Kingdom, she had her sage outfit on, her regular outfit on, and I'm glad that we actually get to experience that with Zelda's point of view. I do like the fact that with all these different outfits that Zelda gets to wear in Echoes of Wisdom, instead of just seeing it in a different, in the form of a cutscene. So it was like, oh, Zelda's wearing a goddess outfit. Zelda's wearing a sage outfit. Zelda's wearing a blue tunic. Zelda's wearing her usual dress. Now it's but now instead of it being just, oh, it's just in the cutscene, I just like the fact that now we get to see Zelda in different attires, but in her point of view. And that was kind of been the common thing with Link in different games. We got to change Link's outfit. In Ocarina of Time, we had the Goron and the Zora tunic. We had the Zora armor from Twilight Princess, the red and blue chainmail Link to the Past. We all got to see each of those different outfits from Link's point of view. Now that Zelda can wear different outfits in this game, now we get to see it through her point of view. And also looking at Twitch chat, Spider, welcome in, buddy. Yes. So what I was saying earlier is that Zelda herself, to summarize things up, Spider, Zelda is getting different outfits, and with the numerous amount of accessories that we can actually give her, as you can see right here, we are at, and like even looking down here at the clothing, we are able to change Zelda's outfit. So we get to change her clothes. But throughout different games, Zelda got to wear different clothes, but we got to experience them through cutscenes on most occasions in past Zelda games. But now, we get to see her wear different outfits from her point of view. So instead of seeing Link wear different outfits from his point of view, and just saying like, oh look, it's Zelda wearing a sage outfit. Now we get to see Zelda wear different clothes from her point of view. And I think this is definitely going to be pretty neat. And looking at this new ability, Bind. Like, honestly, this is just a form of like creating all these type of echoes, like such as like creating beds and rocks and like enemies. This is definitely gonna do a lot of justice for this game. Now, one thing that kind of raises a lot of questions with this Tri-Rod is even just by looking at this trailer, like seeing this, like this green color being able to move objects. I don't know if you guys can see this as well as like I can. But can you guys actually see that, like, looking at this color, this green aura? Doesn't this kind of remind you of the, kind of similar to Breath of the Wild's Magnesis, but also for Link to use the Ultra Hand technique in Tears of the Kingdom? Especially in Tears of the Kingdom. So when Link uses Ultra Hand ability to whether he wanted to lift objects or like Koroks, you would see this green aura just appear out of nowhere. So I'm probably curious if the Tri-Rod that Zelda wields definitely has a purpose as a role to like kind of similar to like Link's powers. Like being able to use like the Magnesis in Breath of the Wild or like the Ultra Hand technique in Tears of the Kingdom. So I wonder if this Tri-Rod that Zelda's wielding might have a connection, even though we can definitely say without a doubt that Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are separate from past Zelda games. And honestly, to explain what I'm talking about, like how Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are separate, I got this, I don't know if anybody's seen this, but I have a picture that I need to show. And I did see this on Twitter the other day, and it kind of gave me like a what the fuck kind of response. Let me see right here. Oh, my microphone fell. Okay, so for anybody who does not know, so Nintendo is launching this new book that's called The Masterworks. And it's a book that's going to fill in on pretty much everything from past Zelda games all the way up from Tears of the Kingdom and probably Echoes of Wisdom. I'm not sure about the Echoes of Wisdom part, but most likely it's going to sum up to Tears of the Kingdom from 2023. And the thing is, Nintendo updated this Zelda timeline. They freaking updated it and they put it in their Masterworks collection. In their Masterworks book. So by looking at it, obviously you can see right here, this is like in the games in order, it's still the same. Like in the past, like this is obviously Skyward Sword. This is Minish Cap. This is the original 4 swords. This is Ocarina of Time, which obviously is the root for the 3 timeline split. And then, of course, coming here, we do have the Fallen timeline with Link to the Past, Link's Awakening, Oracle games, Link Between Worlds, Triforce Heroes, and then later on with Zelda 1 and Zelda 2. The Child timeline with Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, 4 Swords Adventures, and then the adult timeline with Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass, and Spirit Tracks. But just by looking right here, you can see that Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are pretty much separated. They are completely separated from the past Zelda games. And I'm sure there definitely are going to be separated for obvious reasons from Echoes of Wisdom that's coming out pretty soon in 23 days. So, that is definitely is my guess right there. But, to sum it all back, just by looking at what Zelda's new item is capable of what she's able to, I mean, obviously we know Zelda can create echoes. She can create echoes of inanimate objects, some of Ganon's minions, and like being able to lift heavy objects, kind of like similar to like, you know, the Hero of Wild's Magnesis ability from Breath of the Wild, or the Ultra Hand technique from Tears of the Kingdom. So there's definitely going to be a lot of similarity from that, but we don't know that what purpose this rod actually, what is mostly like the main purpose for this rod. I mean, obviously creating echoes, but also I love the fact that how just by a little bit, it can even stop time. It looks like that it can stop time, which is why we see that Zelda's like latching onto this moving platform just to get where she needs to go. So, I definitely do like that this Tri-Rod is just capable of many things. And I'm sure there's, and definitely without a doubt, there's definitely is a lot that we don't know about this mysterious rod. But we know that the reason why that it's here is because of Zelda's new companion, Tri. So we all know that Tri definitely is responsible for all of this. I mean, I'm sure later on down the line, we definitely will find out as to like why is Tri here, and the fact that we're seeing most of Ganon's minions appear from the rifts, and we definitely are going to get into that pretty soon. We're going to be definitely talking about the rifts, and I do like how that because of Tri, Zelda's going to be able to enter the rifts. And I think that's actually is really cool. I think that's cool that she's definitely is going to dive into them. I think that's going to be a really neat trick. And now, we're coming down to the final trailer. We're coming down to the last one, the new recent one. Obviously being called Into the Still World. And, oh my god, you guys. I got things I do want to say about this place. I got things I do want to say about it. So obviously, you know, we do see all these rift holes appear, all these rifts appearing out of nowhere. We see like the King of Hyrule, which honestly, I'm gonna definitely take a guess that this is without a doubt the seeing King of Hyrule from Link to the Past. Because if we do remember, in Link to the Past, the King of Hyrule was killed by Aghanim, and he pretty much disappeared from Hyrule's existence forever. But because of the hero of legend, Link was triumphant, he was able to touch the Triforce of Power and was able to restore peace and to like clean up the damage that Ganon did, such as restoring peace to Hyrule. Zelda becomes like the new profound ruler. The king himself comes back, and even Link's uncle comes back. But I can definitely say that this king, this has to be the same king from A Link to the Past. This is definitely my guess. So so obviously, you know, we're definitely going to say Zelda's father, the King of Hyrule, before he gets sucked into the rift. So this is definitely going to be like a huge major role to where Zelda's going to definitely go help her father, the king. And honestly, just by looking at this, looking at the entire land of Hyrule itself, all these rifts and portals are just appearing everywhere. But the good thing is y'all, is we get to explore these with Tri's magic. And now, I was kind of thinking about this the other day. I was thinking about it, and I kind of told myself that I wonder, and I mean I wonder, if this has a connection with the Dark World from Link to the Past, or also if you're playing A Link Between Worlds, Lorule. which is definitely is the name of the Dark World in that game. But I feel like that theory is probably going to be debunked because in Link to the Past, Link had to use a magic mirror to get to like Ganon's world, Ganon's Dark World, for the Dark World to appear. But now, this is just a different, I mean, obviously, like, the Dark World is filled, like, with dark magic. And now we have, like, the Still World just appearing out of nowhere because of Ganon's malice, Ganon's darkness from the trident that we saw in the first trailer. So, this is definitely going to be something huge. And honestly, I can say, like, this is an entire different world that I feel that Ganon created. To where like civilians and creatures and people are all sucked up into this rift because of Ganon. And I feel like this is more than likely going to be a world that Ganon cooked and created in his own image. So, and I love the fact that we definitely are going to explore this different version. Like this different version of a Dark World now. Almost kind of a little bit similar to how we got to explore the underground from Tears of the Kingdom. So there's definitely going to be a lot going on. I do like how they're also going to be including dungeons for Zelda to tackle. Which, by the way, I do love the fact that the Still World is getting dungeons, and I'm glad that dungeons are back. But I really do think that we're going to be getting Light World dungeons, because I know that was like the same case with Link to the Past and A Link Between Worlds, to where we had dungeons in both the Light World and in the Dark World. So to me, for Echoes of Wisdom, I feel like that we're going to get dungeons in like on the grounds of Hyrule, even though there's like rifts appearing everywhere, but there's also going to be dungeons for Zelda to tackle on her own in the Still World. And I'm glad that we're able to use echoes as well. So just like as we can see here, like lighting torches, creating echoes of like objects and monsters. And like the fact that we even get to see Zelda use minions. Like for example, we can see these enemies called ropes. Like what are we fighting? This Titan, this golem creature. I do love the fact that that Zelda gets to use this to fight. Also, excuse me, I love the fact that Zelda gets to sleep in a bed to where she uses to heal. Can Hyrule's destiny really depend on such a lazy princess? And yes, I kind of took that I kind of retweet that quote from Ocarina of Time. To where Navi tells Link, can Hyrule's destiny really depend on such a lazy boy? That is definitely without a doubt a quote from the beginning of Ocarina of Time. But I really love like how like this is definitely a lot similar to the Dark World, because like in the Dark World we got to explore different places that were familiar with the Light World, you know, such as like in the Light World we have like your desert area, your swamp, your rivers area, your mountains, etc. And even in the Dark World they even had that. Like we had like your swamps, your dark forests, you had like the desert, you had like these different water areas and variations and mountains. And I'm glad that they're going to be doing the same thing again, but in the Still World. So honestly, I'm really loving that that Echoes of Wisdom is taking a lot of inspiration from past 2D Zelda games. Mostly from A Link to the Past. And I really do like that. Now I really want to talk about this, because when I first saw this, I was not expecting Zelda to dress up like Link. This definitely raises a whole ton of questions right here, you guys. This raises a whole lot of questions for this coming here. Because I don't think anybody here was expecting this to happen. So I definitely do want to talk about this. So, obviously, I don't know whose sword this belongs to. I can definitely say it is probably Link's sword, because it definitely looks a lot similar to the sword that Link was able to wield at the beginning of the trailer. And what we see here is like now it is infecting Zelda to where, honestly, the first time in a Zelda game that we get to see Zelda use a sword. And I think that is the most freaking piece of badassery to ever exist in a Zelda game, to where Zelda gets to use a sword. And I really am liking that Nintendo cooked with this idea. To where even though she definitely has like Link's attire on and like in kind of like a spirit form, she is definitely able to use a sword ability. And the fact is, because of this new sword ability, she is able to fight just like Link. Even though we have a meter right here at the top left, that definitely shows that she won't be able to use it for like she'll only be able to use it for a short period of time. But like whenever she like runs out of magic. But I do like the fact that she can definitely use like these crystals to like bring it back and like use her sword to like fight enemies. So I'm glad that Zelda is going to be using... Zelda's going to have numerous amount of weapons throughout this game. She's got her Tri-Rod to make echoes of like rocks and like rocks and boxes and like creating echoes of like Ganon's minions. But I do love the fact is that she can use a sword to help aid herself in combat. And I really do like that idea. And by looking at Twitch chat, I see Goof is like, now we can call Link Zelda. Yes! Yes, we can finally call Link Zelda for real this time. The joke can still carry on. Yeah, the joke is still on, y'all. Yeah, the joke has never died. It is definitely is going on. But I like how Zelda is definitely going to be, you know, picking out these forms of energy to like fill the gauge. And I'm sure we're going to be mostly getting all these forms of energy other than the sword, which I'm sure we're definitely are going to discover later on in this game. And speaking of inhabitants of Hyrule that I was talking about, I'm glad to see that Dampé is back. We see Dampé is back, even though we haven't seen him since the Link's Awakening remake. And I really liked it, like how like that Zelda's like with the help of Dampé, you know, Zelda's able to create like these little contraptions of like Ganon's minions, but in the form of robots. And I really do like that idea. Like, see, like you can see like Zelda like trying to like fight these Wolfos and these Choo-Choos and these slime enemies. Like, I think it's gonna be really cool. And I know I said this 1,000 times, but we are definitely seeing this. We are definitely seeing this with our own. Also, I love that cat, guys. We are seeing this before our very eyes. Zelda, just like what Link has done in previous Zelda games, to where he puts, some creatures, some different people, and an entire land before himself. So now Zelda is gonna be able to do what Link has done. She's gonna put her whole entire kingdom that's like hanging by a thread before herself. And I'm glad that she's definitely gonna experience this like through her own point of view. And I think that's really cool that she gets to do that. But I am still not gonna get over the fact that Zelda herself is capable of wielding a sword. Also, I do have a question about this dragon. I'm kind of curious if this dragon is gonna be a resurrected version of Volvagia from Ocarina of Time. I feel like that this dragon is more like a resurrected version of Volvagia. And for anybody who has not played Ocarina of Time, which you guys know, it is the best game ever made. It's my favorite game ever, which I feel like everybody here should play Ocarina of Time. For anybody who does not know, this is Volvagia. This is the red dragon. This is the boss of the fire temple in Ocarina of Time. And even just by looking at the design, like with the with the red scales and the flaming hair and the mask, obviously you can see that this, to me, has to be a resurrected version of Volvagia. So to kind of like to summarize things, to sum things up really quick before we get back into this. So when Link was a kid in Ocarina of Time, there was a dragon named Volvagia who existed. a long time ago. But the dragon itself was dead. And so when Ganondorf took over Hyrule 7 years later, when the Hero of Time gets thrusted into 7 years into the future to where he's in a grown-up body and he's an adult, Volvagia is revived by Ganondorf revives Volvagia to where he definitely is like a red dragon that hails within the Fire Temple, and according to Darunia's son, who also is named Link, states that the dragon was revived by Ganondorf and was going to be used to eat Gorons. So I feel like that this dragon is going to be the issue for the Gorons. Because back in Ocarina of Time, Volvagia was a dragon that the Gorons feared. And Ganondorf pretty much captured the Gorons and to feed them towards Volvagia, to where Volvagia was going to have a chow down on them. Which I think that is the cruelest thing Ganondorf has ever done. But honestly, I'm going to say that this is definitely going to be a problem. That's going to be an issue, what's happening with the Gorons. So, I'm guessing that in this timeline, Rift Ganon is definitely more than likely going to revive, Volvagia. Because when you do think about it, you know, Ganondorf was sealed into the Sacred Realm, where thus he poisoned it into the Dark World and linked to the past. And we can know that this is definitely, without a doubt, kind of like the same Ganon. So, if Ganondorf can do it again in Ocarina of Time, then I feel like, without a doubt, that Ganon is definitely going to revive a dragon like the red dragon that we saw in the trailer. And I feel like that Zelda is going to have to fight the same dragon that the Hero of Time was able to face. Which I think it's pretty cool. Looking at Twitch chat, Goof says, no comments on what Spider Duck said. Which Spider Goof said, I just thought of a fusion name between Link and Zelda. Linda. And then he says, not gonna lie, the design of that dragon looks not bad. It really does look bad. I feel like it definitely takes a lot of inspiration from Volvagia from Ocarina of Time. Now, to kind of like close things off, I do want to talk about some so based on what we've seen from the 3 trailers that we saw for Echoes of Wisdom, which I'm sure we're probably gonna get another one before the game comes out, because obviously we all know that Nintendo is capable of doing stuff like this, you know, for all their games, whether it be Zelda or Mario, etc. But we definitely got to know more of Princess Zelda's role, to where, you know, with the help of this new companion and this mysterious fairy named Tri, who I feel like is going to be like a spirit echo of the goddess of wisdom herself, Nehru, because henceforth as to why the game is called Echoes of Wisdom. But the goddess of Nehru is going to take form as a different alter ego, a different alias by the name of Tri, to where she definitely is the one who gives Zelda the Tri Rod, to where Zelda can definitely use the rod to create echoes of like inanimate objects and creatures, and being able to use it in combat. Not to mention to even face Link himself in combat. Because one thing I forgot to share, I forgot to show it off real quick. I kind of missed it. I forgot to share it with you guys real quick. Let me see if I can get it back up. Oh, come back here. There we go. Okay, so really quick, right here, you guys, you can see right here that Zelda has found Link, and obviously just by looking at him and the dark aura that surrounds him, obviously we can say that from the beginning of the first trailer that we saw from the Nintendo Direct in June, we know that the Rift has gone into him. The Rift has gone into Link. Obviously, we're going to definitely have to fight him. I'm sure he's definitely is a form of a manipulation of Ganon. So, obviously, we are going to have to fight him. No questions asked. We're going to have to fight Link in this game. If we're going to want to save him, we're going to have to fight him. Now, here is my possible theory to kind of like end things. the final fight. Even though we know what, I mean, without a doubt, we have no confirmation yet of what the final fight is going to look like. Here's what I'm theorizing. I do feel like that we are definitely going to see Ganon again, since Ganon is obviously in this game. I do feel like that we are going to fight Ganon, but instead of like, depending on what game we're playing, depending on what game he's in, instead of like a different incarnation of Link fighting Ganon or Ganondorf, this time obviously it's going to be Zelda being able to fight Ganon. Now, this can either go either way. One, I feel like that Link is probably gonna fight Zelda first, and Zelda's gonna use her tri powers with the tri rod to like use echoes and like to defeat Link, and to definitely use her magic to eradicate the darkness, like the rift that's within Link. So, and then from there, once Link is saved, then Ganon's going to appear, and now he and Zelda are gonna team up together to fight Rift Ganon before Hyrule is restored to peace. Where peace is restored to Hyrule. But I feel like that more than likely, since mostly this game is gonna be all about Zelda herself, I do feel like that Zelda is mostly going to be fighting Ganon herself. But, like I said, it can probably go either way. I do feel like that Link is probably going to help her, like, help Zelda after Zelda saves Link by eradicating that rift darkness that's pretty much like, taken him over. And honestly, the only reason why I consider that Link and Zelda are going to team up, so, to basically summarize things, at the end of Spirit Tracks, Link and Zelda are able to team up together, in Spirit Tracks. To where they were able to stab a sword within the skull of a beast by the name of Demon King Malladus. And I'm definitely going to find that clip real quick. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Okay. So I found it right here. I found it. Oh. God, I swear this webcam does not want to cooperate with me. This webcam does not like me, you guys. It really does not. Oh, we're not done yet. I still need you. Okay. So, like I said, this is a little bit of a spoiler alert. For anyone who has not played Spirit Tracks, but I will show it off anyway. So, to summarize things up, you can see that Link is right here fighting the final boss. Here comes Zelda over here trying to to get rid of the demon, and they're trying to pretty much stab the sword right into the beast's skull. So I do feel like that this is probably going to be a similar situation to where both Zelda and Link are going to fight Ganon, or what I like to call Rift Ganon because of all the Rift darkness. I feel like that this is probably more than likely going to happen. And honestly, it could be a strong possibility that either what we see here, this is either going to happen, or mostly that Zelda's going to be the one who's doing all the work. Then she's going to save Link and then free him from the darkness of the rift, to where Ganon is defeated, all the rift darkness is gone. That's what I do feel like is going to happen. So, honestly, I guess you can say, chat, that without a doubt, that Princess Zelda is gonna have a bigger role to fill in this game. She's gonna go help Zelda. She's gonna go help Link and the people of Hyrule, and especially different species like the Gorons and the Zoras, the Dekus, the Gerudo, the Great Deku Tree. She's going to help everyone, and including her entire kingdom, and she's going to put all of that before herself. So I feel like that is going to be the main purpose of where this game is getting at. To where mostly, depending on what Zelda game we're playing, to where Link takes on the responsibility of helping people's problems, protecting an entire land, whether it be Hyrule or Termina or like Holodrum or Labrina, like from the Oracle games, to where he puts those problems first before himself. Now, this huge responsibility is going to be placed on Princess Zelda herself. And honestly, I can say that without a doubt, you guys, I'm rooting for her. I am definitely rooting for our beloved Princess of Hyrule. I'm rooting for her. And honestly, I can't wait to see what else we are definitely going to experience when this game comes out within 23 days. I'm hoping I'm right about that number. I think it's 23 days. Because right now it's September 3rd. But I do think it's going to be 23 days until the game comes out. But honestly, guys, I'm really excited for Echoes of Wisdom. And I hope you guys are too. So guys, that is going to be it. That is going to be all I have to say. So so let me know in the YouTube comments, what are your thoughts on all of this? And tell me, how are you feeling about Echoes of Wisdom? And if you guys are watching this by the time the game comes out, please tell me what are your thoughts of it. Please tell me your thoughts on you playing the game. And what do you think you could be expecting from the future of this title? Because honestly, there's going to be a lot going on with this brand new Zelda game come out. And I can't wait to experience this from Princess Zelda's point of view. I think she's going to kick ass. I am like all in favor of rooting for Zelda in this new game. I think she's gonna kill it. I'm gonna say that she's definitely gonna put the nail right in the coffin. She is without a doubt gonna do it, you guys. But guys, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, please don't forget to do the following by liking, sharing, subscribing, all that jazz, and also come say hi to me on Twitch under the same name, Born of Kokiri. The days that I stream mostly are on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. Yeah, I mean, obviously you'll catch me playing games like Zelda, Mario, and Kingdom Hearts. So you definitely will be catching me playing those titles, though. Looking at Twitch chat, I can see Goofy's excited. He's like, woohoo! And then Spider Goose says, all I can say is I'm very hyped that we're finally going to see Zelda and Link cading hands for the first time. Yeah, we definitely are going to be seeing them work together. Even though, of course, we first got to experience that through the point of view in Spirit Tracks. Through Spirit Tracks. But I'm glad that we're most likely going to probably seeing this again, depending on what the end game is going to look like. And looking at this, oh, look at Michaela. Thank you so much. Welcome on in. Guys, for anybody who does not know, we have right here on the show right now, we do have my best friend, Michaela, aka Gluten-Free Waifu, which, by the way, anybody who does not know her, she also made a recent appearance on the show, to where I talked about Zant back in the month of July, which honestly, if I can quote Michaela on her thoughts on Zant, it's just, ew. I mean, honestly, I feel like we're all going to call him that from now on. We are definitely going to call him just ew. Michaela says, I enjoyed listening while I did some homework. I'm excited for this game. Michaela, I really do appreciate you. You are freaking incredible. I appreciate all of you for tuning in. Tuning into the podcast. You guys know this definitely will be uploaded on YouTube the next day. Like I said, I'm going to be uploading this on YouTube for sure. Without a doubt. But honestly, like you, Michaela, like everybody else here present today, honestly, I'm excited for this game, and I can't wait to see what Zelda is going to fulfill. What other role is she going to fill in this game? And I feel like she's going to do an amazing job. So, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to tune in to next month for the month of October, as guys, since we are going to be diving into another podcast episode in October for Spooktober month. We're going to be talking about, for the month of October, for October 3rd, we're going to be coming back to another topic about Majora's Mask. So, be sure to join me and Sora, Sora will be making an appearance once again on the show, as Sora and I are going to be talking about the Happy Mask Salesman, or the name of the title is going to be called Who Is He? So the next episode on October 3rd is going to be all about the Happy Mask Salesman, because I know back in April when I was joined with Sora Landy from the Landy Watch, where we got to talk about the mysteries of the moon from Majora's Mask, to where we briefly talked about just a teeny bit of the Happy Mask Salesman. But in the month of October, it's gonna be all about the Happy Mask Salesman. There's a man behind that crazy smile who seems to know a lot more than meets the eye. So, if you are a Majora's Mask fan, be sure to come back on October 3rd, as we are going to be talking about the Happy Mask Salesman. It'll be me and Sora. We're going to be diving into him, like, who is he? Why is he here? What was his purpose in Ocarina of Time? Mostly his major role in Majora's Mask. How was he able to get Majora's Mask in his possession? It's going to be all about him. It's going to be all about him, you guys. And honestly, it's going to be a really great and fun discussion to talk about. So, but yeah, guys, I'm so excited for this game. I'm so excited for Echoes of Wisdom. Let me know you guys are picking it up on day one. I cannot wait for Echoes of Wisdom, and I hope you guys are too. So, guys, this has been your boy, Born of Kokiri. I will see you guys here next month on October 3rd for Spooktober month. As again, we're going to be talking about the mystery of the Happy Mask Salesman, and who is he for real. So till then, thank you for watching. Have a great one, and I will see you next time. Take care.